I would mostly love to be a software engineer or a robotics person. That way I get to use coding more often than my normal times. Probably new problems people haven't really thought of, like, or problems people know, like waste problems, because waste is a lot in the world. It's like landfills everywhere. And I would try to create a machine that could reduce waste or recycling air into more cleaner air for people to use. Hi, my name is Denzel and I'm 11 years old. I didn't get interested in coding. My mom got interested in coding and then she pulled me into coding. And then I fell in love with coding. It's so much fun. It's been long, but I think it's a shark and a fish talking to each other. I just loved it. It was like my first assignment. I was so happy. Well, my mom took me to coding classes on Saturdays, and I'll learn small basics about Scratch, bits by bits each day. I feel like you guys should also try it. It's really fun, and I suggest it for anyone, any age. Well, my first one is Scratch. My second one is VS Code. My third one is freecodecamp.org. My fourth one is GitHub. My fifth one is Colab. I have a lot. Well, I don't have any favorite books, but I have a tutorial from Coursera that's really helped me a lot in learning Python. For my soccer games, my basketball games, I have a lot. It's hard to remember when you build so many projects. My favorite one is the soccer one because it's the most challenging one. Well, it's the soccer one because you have to create an AI person playing for the red team, and I really didn't know how to make AI on Scratch, so I tried my best till I figured it out. I didn't really check online or read. I just looked at it, stared at the problem, and tried thinking, bringing different Scratch blocks out and putting them back in, checking their functions, so I found one that was good enough for a function. Unfortunately, I've not been to one of them, but I would love to be to one. There aren't really any coding competitions or hackathons for my age, but I would love to go to one. I spend like almost up to like 12 hours. I like spending a lot of time on my coding because I feel like it's really good for me and I want to learn more. I don't really have a specific routine or schedule. I just do coding any day I like for as many hours as I want. I run the code and then see the line and the space where the problem was. Then I go to there and look down and above it because the problem might be above it and there might be more problems than usual. So I check the code and then I solve it. The best one I like to use is Python because I've been using that for a few months and weeks now, and I've learned so much in Python. So I say Python is my best, and the reason why I choose it is because it's similar to JavaScript, which controls people in websites. So I feel like Python can be used for websites like a framework called Django. I can't really live without GitHub because I use it for Python. Because without GitHub, I can't use any other like Python because VS Code doesn't allow Python on it, so I use GitHub, but I don't really have any softwares. My favorite coding platform is also GitHub because I can do any language here and it would always work out well. They even have a mini tab so that I can see what I'm doing time to time without having to reload the page. I don't really know any famous coder or programmer, but I'm sure I would love to meet one. I might have a lot of questions to ask them. It's creating a website. I'm always fascinated by different websites I see, and I try to make my websites like theirs, exactly the same, but I don't really know as many tags and functions they use like JavaScript, so I try my best to make it work. I would say they should try Scratch first if they don't have any knowledge of coding because Scratch is the best for young people. And then they should move on to other websites like GitHub or VS Code if they want to learn more languages, if they're interested in coding. I stay motivated by like making challenging questions and trying to solve them using coding languages. It really helps my brain because it lets me learn more new functions, and that way I can use new functions to make things faster for me. Like, I never knew about a loop, so I kept on bringing if else and if else. But once I learned about the while and for loops in Python, I knew a lot to do with that. I want to learn new coding languages like JavaScript because I've never been learning a lot more languages than before. Like Java, there are like a billion languages out there. There's so much to learn, and I only know like three coding languages. So I really want to know more. I'm trying to make like making a mini AI search bar where you can search for anything and just take up knowledge from Wikipedia to bring it online, and that way it will show you facts. And you can do that using Python, so I'm trying to do that. I see it's fixing into robotics because you use coding to make your robots work, and into AI because you use it to connect to other websites. Coding really does a lot. It helps a lot. I'll mostly love to be a software engineer or a robotics person. That way I get to use coding more often than my normal times. Probably new problems people haven't really thought of, like, or problems people know, like waste problems, because waste is a lot in the world. It's like landfills everywhere. And I would try to create a machine that could reduce waste or recycling air into more cleaner air for people to use. I'll really say thanks to my mom. She's the one that made me start learning from coding at the age of 6 and moved me up to where I am right now. If not for her, I don't think I've even learned or know about Scratch. They haven't really been that helpful, I'll say, even though. But they do try to help most of all. Unfortunately, I don't have any friends that code. I'm the only person that I think knows how to code in like my whole school. The only student, I mean, that only knows how to code. But I like to play games. I like hiding when my mom isn't looking or my dad, and then I play games like Minecraft or Roblox or Among Us. There are so many games to play. And when I play those games, I think of coding because all those games are made with coding. So I really enjoy playing those games. Yes, I do, fortunately. So I used to teach my sister how to code with Scratch, and now she's currently learning a bit about Python. My brother isn't really learning about because he's still small, and I think later on he'll be able to learn. It changed the way I think about creativity, mostly the both of them. It makes me think of more different ways to solve problems, and my creativity changes over time. I feel like coding does make you feel smart because my classmates are like, wow, how do you know that? It's so awesome. I really think coding makes children smart because my classes are like, how do you know all those stuff? I want to learn from you. With coding, you solve problems, and those problems make you feel more smarter. And when you run into problems or errors, you really need to be patient because you're the one that made a mistake and you need to check again. I feel like anyone at any age can learn coding, even adults that doesn't know a thing about coding can learn. Even children like smaller than 7 because I started at 6. Even a child that starts at 5 can learn coding and know a lot. Coding is really fun and I suggest it for everyone.